bitter criticism. It's time to see what's going on with Russia Today. Russia Today, a very special newspaper this very day because Bashar al-Assad is in Moscow. We are going to, I'm just going to check it out. How is he? And says Assad in Moscow. Russia Today. Assad in Moscow, Russia media. December 8th, 2024. Home, Russia and former Soviet Union. Assad in Moscow, Russia media. The former Syrian president has been granted asylum in Russia, Kremlin sources say. And there's a photograph. Syrian President Bashar Assad and his wife Asma Assad are seen during a visit to Moscow's State Institute for Foreign Relations on January 25th. Former Syrian President Bashar al-Assad has been granted asylum in Russia and has arrived in Moscow with his family. Russian news agencies RIA Novosti and TASS reported on Sunday, citing Kremlin sources. The development comes as Syrian militants seized control of Damascus, effectively ending Assad's 24-year rule. The swift capture of the Syrian capital marks the culmination of a large-scale offensive launched by Hayat Tahrir al-Sham, HTS, led by former Al-Qaeda commander and previously known as Jabhat al-Nusra. The group initiated a surprise offensive from the opposition-held province of Idlib in northern Syria. Last week, jihadists had previously driven the Syrian army from the cities of Aleppo, Hama, Homs, and Al-Qusair at the Lebanese border before advancing into Damascus. Quote, Assad, along with members of his family, has arrived in Moscow. Russia granted them asylum on humanitarian grounds, a source told TASS. Moscow has called for the resumption of UN-led negotiations to resolve the Syrian crisis. TASS reported, leaders of the Syrian armed opposition have assured the safety of Russian military bases and diplomatic missions operating in Syria, according to Kremlin officials, as cited by RIA. That's it. As it was a short news, a very short, I'm going to read another one. This right below this news, there's another that says Syrian militants pledge to protect Russian bases. TASS. Damascus fell under the control of armed militants on Sunday. government militants and jihadists who toppled President Bashar Assad's government in Syria have guaranteed the security of Russia's military bases and diplomatic outposts in the country. A Kremlin source has reportedly told the TASS news agency. Hayat Tahrir al-Sham HTS jihadists and U.S. Armed Free Syrian Army FSA militants stormed Damascus on Saturday as the Syrian army stood down and Assad left the country for asylum in Russia. HTS leader Abu Mohammed al-Jolani, a former Al-Qaeda commander, proclaimed victory in a televised statement on Sunday, declaring that, quote, "the future is ours." Speaking to Russia's TASS news agency later on Sunday, an unnamed Kremlin source said that Russian officials, quote, "are in contact with representatives of the armed Syrian opposition. These representatives, quote, have guaranteed the security of Russian military bases and diplomatic institutions on Syrian territory," the source said, adding that, quote, "we hope for the continuation of political dialogue in the name of the interests of the Syrian people and the development of bilateral relations between Russia and Syria." Russia intervened in the Syrian civil war in 2015, helping Assad wrest back control of his country from Islamic State IS, formerly ISIS, and a panoply of foreign-sponsored militias and jihadist groups. This time around, Moscow did not commit forces to hold back the HTS and FS assault, with the Russian Foreign Ministry stating that Assad had decided to relinquish power peacefully following back-channel talks with several opposition groups. Quote, "Russia did not participate in these negotiations," the ministry noted. Russia began construction of the Khmeimim air base near Talakia shortly after it came to Assad's aid in 2015. The facility has since been used by Russian Air Force to launch attacks on IS and other terrorist groups in Syria, and to transport supplies and weapons into the country. Khmeimim Air Base is located around 60 kilometers from the Russian naval facility at Tartus, which was built by the Soviet Union in 1971. Russia signed a 50-year lease on the facility in 2017, allowing Moscow full sovereignty over the base and giving the Russian Navy permission to station up to 11 vessels there. The Russian Foreign Ministry said that both facilities had been placed on high alert during the insurgents' advance on Damascus, but, quote, "there is currently no serious threat to their security." And that's it. So interesting, isn't it? So Bashar al-Assad just gave up. Who knows what's going to happen?